same could be said for what I think on Denver Harris and his LSU experience. I think, Denver Harris needed LSU football.
Mm-hmm.
LSU football really
needed Denver Harris.
Kind of at this point, obviously they needed him on the field. Everybody needed him on the field, but really to be an example of the system, be an example of the process. I think Denver Harris 2 years from now is almost a poster child for Brian Kelly of this is what we're trying to do, right? I mean, we're trying to take somebody who may be a little confused or, had some trouble somewhere else or came from trouble but gets into the program and 3 years later you're a starter, you've got accolades, hopefully you've got some types of team accomplishments, and then you're a first round pick. I mean, that is ideally what he would love to be able to recruit, sell, package up and say, hey, look at Denver Harris, how much can you relate to this? There's a lot of people out there that look at Harris and say, hey, if I was given all that money and I was given a car and, doing all this stuff,
freedom,
and didn't have as many rules as I probably needed at that time in my life, how wild would I run? And I think, Harris tested the limits, but it really, at the end of it, he really wants structure. He wants to be accountable. He wants to have, standards put in place that he has to abide by. And I think, once you put somebody a part of a team, and you make them really feel like they have a responsibility and you have to make them feel like, whatever you do affects the group. You have a bad attitude, you don't respect one another, you don't take time seriously, whatever it may be.
Yeah, you're only doing you.
Right. I mean, that's just not going to work. And, I think once you show somebody that, people really embrace that. I mean, I think even outside, think about your workplace. I mean, think about where you're showing up. Do you work harder when you're a part of the team, or when somebody gives you an individual project and say, have that back to me by close of business tomorrow? Do you say, how much can I procrastinate this? How much can I?
Yeah, nobody's keeping an eye on me.
Right. I mean, and there's no real value. There's no real worth. I mean, once you kind of infuse, hey, we've got to have this, and you're the person for this, and we need to have you there on time doing this to make sure that when it gets game time, we're taking care of what we're supposed to be doing. Yeah, I really think that people respond to that. And Denver Harris, from all accounts, up to this point, has really embraced that. He's really kind of
I think what Brian Kelly's last comments on that, I guess the whole Denver Harris situation is, probably telling to Denver Harris. We've seen Brian Kelly kind of deliver messages to singular players through the media before, where he's talking to you, well, maybe talking to a group of people. He knows that Denver's going to see this, and him saying that, look, this is his last opportunity to play in the SEC. There's no way that if he fumbles this bag, that he gets another opportunity elsewhere. So it's almost contingent on Denver Harris to fall in line, because if he does the same thing he did last year, he's not getting a shot again on big-time college football, and that affects not only LSU, but it affects his future as a football player.
Yeah, without question. I mean, this is the last opportunity at the SEC level for Denver Harris. He may not be running out of football chances, but I'm not sure that another SEC program would take him if he was to burn the bridge at LSU, right? So I believe that this is going to play out well for everybody. And by all accounts, Harris on the field is as good as advertised. I mean, remember, at the halfway mark last season, Denver Harris was a freshman All-American. There was nobody really that was. I mean, it was arguable that he was one of the top overall, corners. Forget freshmen out there. I mean, he was kind of trending in a direction where he was becoming, very dominant as a first-year player. So he's now at LSU, and he's going to fit in fantastically. He's going to play early on. He'll be, in my opinion, I think he'll be a day one starter, play one starter, game one starter for LSU. And, like we said, I mean, for as much as Denver Harris needed LSU needed Denver Harris. They needed a cornerback, obviously. They needed somebody that they could trust out there. But moreover, I think that you take the chance on Harris, because after you do your homework and after you do, really kind of some background gathering information on Harris and his situation, is that, I mean, he's 18. I mean, he's not out there, murdering anyone. He's not out there, like a part of like anything that's deadly and harmful. Oh, we drove a car 80 miles an hour through that was dumb. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not by any means excusing that. You know, but I mean, if we all had to go relive our dumb decisions at 18, you know, I mean, it's just let's not stand on a tower and say that he's bad news because, you know, he had some access and he had some money and he had some freedoms that, you know, he didn't have and experienced that when he got out of the house at 18 years old. I mean, I think that we can all relate to that. And Harris getting a second chance at LSU is a great opportunity for him and the program.
Which is wrong place, wrong time at A&M.
Yeah, that's right.